Hello everyone, welcome back to another reaction video, and today we have another Arthur TV video. Now, a few weeks ago, months ago, whatever it might have been, we reacted to one of Arthur's Flat Earther videos. We have a bit of an extension this time. We have Flat Earth TikTok is a cult. Now, the last Flat Earth video I found so interesting. It was so much fun to watch. And I know this one's going to be as well. I love an Arthur TV video. They're always educational. They're always fun to watch. Let's get into it, shall we? We are still live in our subathon. We are still with chat. We have 5 hours, 16 minutes to go. This being recorded on Sunday at 2:37. So there's a chance when this video goes out, we are no longer live. Big old sad, eh? But yes, let's get into the video. Here we go.
Right, so there are flat earthers
Sound all good, you lot?
Across the globe, and we've already looked at a bunch of them in two YouTube videos.
So I've watched this one. I haven't watched this one, but this one was really, really good.
But today we're off to a different corner of the internet, TikTok, to see what those inquisitive little morons are up to there. So let's have a look. All right, first up.
It's a good start. It's a strong start.
Down in Australia. Flat Earth questions.
So do you believe that people are upside down right now in Australia, and that rain goes up instead of down? It rains up in Australia, and people are upside down, or
so
in different parts of the planet, we're sideways. We're walking.
So this guy thinks the Earth is flat by the sounds of it. Okay.
We're sideways.
Yes.
As we,
I'm trying to
like
Inception.
Do you believe that planes are landing on moving runways? Why can't I go up in a helicopter for an hour if the world is spinning? Why can't I hover for an hour and come back down and be somewhere else?
Damn.
Okay.
Not damn.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Stupid couple of questions. I think a main
Jesus
problem with these
Christ.
type of flat earthers is that they can't conceptualize bigger ideas in their head. This is quite convenient, actually. I've got a little prop with me this time.
Fun. Okay, hang on.
So
Nice.
I think when they picture the globe, rather than thinking of themselves as being on it, they imagine the globe like floating in front of them, but in Earth's gravitational field. So when they're going,
I mean that kind of makes
so where's
sense.
Australia here. So when they're going, we're up here, that's Africa.
So they're kind of picturing themselves as like the center of gravity, like where they are on the planet, things revolve around that specific location, right? I kind of agree with what Arthur's saying here, because then only then are you saying that, oh, Australia is upside down, right? That's kind of the way that it works. Obviously, if you know the center of gravity is the center of the fucking Earth, everyone's being pulled towards that. Whereas if you're thinking of it from where you are right now, that is the center of gravity. I can understand why they'd think that, but it's still very fucking stupid, right? It's ill-informed nonsense.
America there. We're up here. Australia's down here. When we're stood upright, Australians are upside down to me.
Yeah.
They're still thinking about it in terms of me standing here with gravity all going this way. So it's going down this way, but it's almost as if
they can't
think
conceptualize that
really
gravity. They can't understand that the gravity is not where they are. It's the same distance away from you as it is someone from Australia.
Way is also pointing that way.
Well,
but down is just to the center of this. So you flip it upside down. The Australians are now going, well, you guys are on the other side. Why aren't you falling down? It's because everything is being pulled this way, that way, that way, that way. You saw none of that. But it's all going towards this. And so I think in their head, they're going like, oh, obviously if something was there on this little globe, it would fall that way. But it's just being pulled down. If it was actually there in space, there's a lot of stuff pulling it in.
Well, yeah, I guess potentially it's not them thinking that the center of gravity is where they are. It actually wouldn't be that, is it? The center of gravity they're expecting to be like down here. Like they are almost expecting Earth to be floating on top of like a random surface. So the floor is the bottom of space, and they're just seeing the Earth as here, and they're expecting like the gravity, the gravitational pull to be from the floor of space. Obviously doesn't exist. Stupid. That's stupid.
All of Earth's gravity, nothing pulling it that way. But I think they just haven't got the ability to kind of zoom out and picture that. And it must just be really common because you hear so many flat earthers say the same thing, that it's crazy. And sometimes they'll speak about rivers running, which way? Running north. And they're like, oh, how is the river going up? How's the water going up against gravity? Still thinking that for this globe, that way is down. And it's like, no, it's about elevation. Like if it's a bit more bulged out here and a bit less bulged in up here, it's gonna run down like that. But I mean, that's just the case with so much science denial, isn't it? It's not that they've got valid criticisms, it's that they just can't
It's
understand
ill-informed
it. And that is
knowledge,
what the
yeah.
personal incredulity fallacy is. And
All right, give me a minute. Premise 1, I can't explain or imagine how proposition X can be true. Premise 2, if a certain proposition is true, then I must be able to explain or imagine how that can be. Conclusions, proposition X is false. Sure.
the helicopter question too, that's such a common one again. And it's like, I wonder what they think would happen if you were on a train and you just threw a ball up in the air. Did they think that it would just land above whatever train track they were above when they first threw it in the air? And
well,
then
I guess
just fly
so.
back in the carriage? I mean, let's use the globe again. So India, here, let's say you were in a helicopter here. The Earth is already turning. And so when the helicopter lifts up, it's got
You're
that
already so
velocity
much further
already
back,
from the
yeah.
Earth. It's already moving that way, and so is the air. So the helicopter, the air, and the ground are all moving together. Why do they think that the helicopter would just stop moving? Is the exact reason why if you have a ball and you're on a plane or a train or in a car and you throw it up,
And it
it's gonna
stays
land
with
back
you.
in your hand.
Yeah.
And again, I'm already feeling the frustrations of previous videos because so many times they've got these questions and they're clearly really intrigued by it.
But they just don't
they either
ever give a shit to research it.
don't look up the answer,
Yeah.
or they look it up and they can't understand it, and I don't know which one is more frustrating. What else are they going to say? Let's see.
That makes sense. It does, but
I mean,
it's
if someone's looking it up and they can't understand it, I don't necessarily think that's frustrating, because it becomes one of two things to me at that point. Either they don't learn that way. I'm not necessarily a, what way round is it? I think I'm an audio learner rather than a visual learner. Like I struggle with I don't know if it's not that I'm not a visual learner. I can't learn by reading stuff. That does not work for me. I have to learn in other ways, and it could very well be that people just struggle with that kind of concept of it and they haven't found the right way to learn it. I genuinely think 9 times out of 10 it's more so the inability to understand it, or just ignorance to understand it. Like, people just don't actually care about finding the answer. They've come up with their conclusions already, and that's it. They just run with it.
I was talking to a former fighter pilot, and they get up to 50,000 feet, like 20,000 something more feet. And I said, "Do you see the curvature of the Earth?" He says, "Yes, we do."
He's lying to you. He's a Mason. I guarantee it.
There we go. And then
Oh, well, it's a
any evidence
Freemason
to the
or
contrary of
something.
Their beliefs they shut down. I guarantee
Yeah.
if he had said, I spoke to a pilot and he said, when I go up, I never see the curve. It's just flat. He would have gone, exactly. That is evidence that backs up my belief. Retweet. And that is confirmation bias. And we
Retweet.
see that all the
Yeah.
time too. All right, let's see what's up next. By the way,
It's awful,
always
man.
the same people on these podcasts, isn't it? It's always people with no scientific expertise whatsoever, just being like, makes you think, doesn't it? After asking the most stupidly basic question ever. Or in this case, potentially proposing an experiment. Let's see what he says.
The Earth don't spin. So let me tell you 100%. I can say with confidence, I'm not no scientist, no engineer, but I can tell you
But he can say it with confidence, man. He's telling you 100%. This is fact right here. He's got no qualifications based on it. He's got no knowledge based on it. He's never researched it in a day in his life. He dreamt about it once, but he can tell you absolute fact.
Shock. Thus maintains the rate of 100% of flat earthers not having those qualifications.
a simple experiment that you can undoubtedly prove the Earth don't spin.
Okay,
It
let's
involves
do
a
it.
helicopter. I
There
made
we
this
go.
experiment up myself, okay? So
Of course he
you
did.
take a helicopter. You can get up to 15,000 feet. You can sit there and hover. You can hover at 0 miles an hour, literally not going inch
It's
north,
the
south,
same
east,
thing,
or
isn't
west.
it?
So you hover this helicopter for 4 or 5 hours, 20,000 feet. Did you know that you can come right back down where you took off?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the...
Think about the implications of that.
Yes, I did
Yeah,
know
I mean,
that.
Classic. This is what I mean.
Because
many
I
of
understand
them
it.
asking the exact same question, and I think they're all going to be in their same little. They're going to be in their little echo chambers, in their Facebook groups, and their
Yeah.
Telegram groups, asking all of these questions, and not one of them is ever going to bother to look up the answer or attempt to understand it, because those that do leave flat Earth. All right, next up, another podcast. Let's see what these guys are discussing. Anything new, or is it going to be the helicopter
Oh,
question again?
Jesus.
Finna butt flat.
Do I think?
I know it is.
Wait, what? You been in America too
Think
long,
about
bro.
how many times, bro.
You been
When
in
you
America
walk,
too
my
long,
nigga,
bro.
do you walk like this?
Oh my God.
Americans are the
Oh, we actually
worst.
doing this right now.
It's genuinely the dumbest arguments every time. When you walk, you don't walk like that, do you? You don't walk like that. Oh.
Nah, you
Is that your logic,
Yeah,
bro?
that can't be your logic.
That ain't even trolling, bro. How many times you walk and you don't walk like this, bro? Come on.
How far you walking? Wait, bro, don't get that. Gravity is
Goliath,
visual,
bro.
right?
Are you Goliath is such a good shot. Oh, that's hilarious.
What do you see?
Flat, bro. It's straight.
That's the way they built it, bro. That's the way they built it.
Okay, that's the way they built it. Isn't the best
It's also-
response? But I'm glad
Yeah, it's also not a valid argument, but sure,
they were all
whatever.
there just going like, have you got no concept of scale? The circumference of the Earth is 40,000 kilometers around the equator. When he does that and he goes, oh, and like does a quarter of a circle turn, he's speaking about 10,000 kilometers. And he's going on that walk and just being like, not really detecting much curvature here.
But also, the thing is, with his argument, you genuinely can walk over something that's like that if it's just a tiny little hill. So what is his argument? He's only ever walked in Netherlands where it's completely fucking flat. That kind of argument is genuinely infuriating because it is so stupid.
Those numbers are so
Like,
big that our brains
unbelievably
can't really fathom
stupid.
that. They did not evolve to fathom those kind of numbers. But what he's talking about is walking a kilometer and being like, I didn't notice the 8-centimeter dip. Of course you're not going to be walking on that being like, this is a very curved surface. Again, it's just a flat earther who's struggling to comprehend the size and scale of the Earth. But at least his boys were there to call him out on it. All right,
Yeah,
what have we got
thank
next?
fuck.
How the fuck you got the sun out there and you got the moon out there?
At the same time. You know what's crazy, bro? You know what's crazy?
What's up?
Doesn't the motherfucking moon get its light from the fucking sun?
The earth is flat.
Yeah.
But the moon gets its light from the sun, so we can see the
Sun is all the
fucking
way
moon.
over there.
Bro,
We can see the moon and
Right
the
there.
sun at the same time.
bro, that's what I'm trying to tell you,
What if
blood.
you're living in a dome?
Dome wearing.
They just have to be high, right? They like, what other explanation is there for that conversation? I think I understood maybe half of what they said. What the fuck just happened?
Okay, they are very funny, but they are sadly
They're
wrong,
funny,
or at
but
least mistaken.
it's
a
just
lot of people don't really think about this because you tend to grow up associating the sun with daytime validly and the moon with nighttime. But the moon actually spends about as much time in the sky during the day as it does during the nighttime. But I think when you're a kid, you
yeah.
kind of assume, Bear in the Big Blue House, the moon comes out at night. That is a
I
classic
mean, true.
example of
Yes.
a fantastic TV show that's getting it wrong. So I suppose if you don't really think about it or don't really learn about the orbit of the moon and how it works, seeing the sun and the moon at the same time, you're going to be like, hold on, we're kind of in daytime. Isn't that moon going to be seen by everyone at nighttime on the other side of the world? How does that work? Because they're facing the other way because they're flipped for us. So that would only make sense if the Earth was flat. But if they picked up their phone to a buddy on the other side of the Earth and rang them up, they'd be
I've never
saying,
thought about that,
hey,
to
it's
be fair.
nighttime here and there's no moon in the sky. And I mean, you can test this yourself. Find out when the new moon is for you. They're about once every lunar month. And at nighttime, go and try and find the moon. It won't be in the sky. And so
I mean, yeah, I never really thought about why the moon wasn't there at nighttime, to be honest. So that's at least something that I've learned from this. Fun.
bugger on the other side of the Earth is getting to bask in the glory of both the sun and the moon. Two beautiful celestial objects. And then next time you get the honor of witnessing both, you can be extra grateful. Like the Big Yellow Taxi song says, you don't know what you got till it's gone. All right, next up. Back to the podcasts, and it's Logan Paul. Didn't he do a Flat Earth documentary at one point? Like pretending to be a Flat Earther? Please tell me he's not been convinced by it.
Do you guys think the Earth is flat or round?
Who's asking?
Ruby.
Who do you work for?
That's the question, guys.
What do you think it is?
I think it's flat. I think
No, that's what we've been saying.
no, you guys agree that the Earth is flat.
In our parody documentary, yeah,
When we were surrounded by the dumbest people on the
It was a joke.
we posed this flat.
That was a
earthers that
joke.
Infiltrated the Flat Earth Convention.
That is quite an interesting video to watch, actually. To
I haven't
sort
seen
of get
that.
Inside the mindset of the Flat Earthers. I mean, you kind of get it from these types of videos anyway, but seeing them all in one space, in one convention, it definitely reinforces the kind of sense that flat earthers really like being unique and special and having this community, because you can really see how important all of those things are to them. And it can kind of help you understand why some people become flat earthers, because you can sit there and go like, logically and scientifically, this is ridiculous. But then you go, oh, like you're a lonely old person and your partner passed away and you live by yourself and you've
don't
not
make me
really
feel
got any
bad
friends,
for
and now
them.
all of a sudden you've got this community and you're really excited and meeting up and looking at the sun and the moon and stuff all the time, and now you're perhaps somewhat empty feeling.
Don't make me
life
feel bad.
has purpose. And I think as fun as it is to be like, haha, these flat earthers are so dumb, it's good to remember that there are just fallible humans on the other side. Anyway, let's
of
let's see
course.
what the low gang are saying.
The dumbest group of people I've ever seen in my life.
Wait, so how do we know that the Earth is not?
Have you heard of Occam's razor?
No.
It's a theory that the simplest explanation is often the correct explanation. There are so many things and explanations that
I haven't
the
heard
Earth
of
is
that.
round,
Like
correct
what?
and true, time and time and time again.
Okay.
The same doesn't hold up for the flat Earth theory.
Is that going to the moon real?
Oh, I was gonna ask you that.
All right,
So, I mean,
shock. They've gone on to moon landing conspiracy
Yeah.
theories. Yeah, I never thought I'd say this, but Logan Paul is right. The idea of Occam's razor is you should go.
Never thought I'd
let's
say this
prefer
is
the
funny.
explanation that has the fewest number of additional assumptions. And with the globe Earth, you kind of, what are the assumptions? You go, gravity is real. That means something as big as the Earth would collapse into a ball. It's going to be a sphere. And from that one assumption, everything else follows. Time zones, day and night cycles, seasons, lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, the Earth's curved shadow on the moon. Also things like GPS is working and satellites staying in orbit, and all of these kind of things flow very simply from it. But with flat Earth, it requires so many other assumptions, and a lot of them don't work with each other. This is something we've spoken about before. The reason there is no one flat Earth model for everyone to go and criticize in its entirety is because you can't
Every
have
single
one
one of
model
them
that
has its
explains
flaw.
everything that we observe. They can
Yeah.
create one flat model that might explain one thing, but then something else breaks somewhere else. And you end up with, for example, a sun that changes its speed and size and brightness daily. You have to assume that all these space agencies all around the world are all in on the hoax. You have to replace gravity with buoyancy and density and just assume that down means down for no reason. That's why a lot of people say that explanation still needs gravity. You've also got to assume that all of the amateurs, whether they're satellite trackers or people who take photos of planets in their telescopes, they're all wrong or lying as well. And you can see it happen as well. You can find amateur astrophotographers on Twitter and on Instagram and on TikTok, and they'll post the most beautiful photos of things like Saturn and Jupiter that you'll ever see in your life, and they'll just be like 2 or 3 flat earthers being like fake. And the person will be like, no, here's my setup. You can go buy this telescope yourself and take the exact same pictures and get the exact same results. And they're like, don't believe you, blocked. And they're like, all right, flat earthers.
He's so well spoken, isn't he? Like, this is the same guy that in like a Chris MD video, when he hears a siren, goes, "Oh, it's the volley police." This is the same guy. He's so well spoken when he knows what he's talking about. It's so impressive.
It always finds its level, but they've got to assume that tides happen for no apparent reason, that all this water is perfectly flat, and then randomly there are just massive bulges in the water caused by who knows what. And those bulges are obviously perfectly explained in the globe Earth model by the moon. But the flat earthers just go, well, it happens, but we just got to assume that, I don't know, NASA and the lizard people are behind it or something. And yeah, there are just so many
fucking
stupid
lizard
assumptions you have
people
to make a flat Earth model work. And Occam's razor isn't a proof. It isn't going like the one that has the fewest assumptions is necessarily true. But if you're a reasonable person and you haven't got compelling evidence to the contrary, it makes sense to prefer the one with the least number of assumptions. Let's see what they say about the moon landings.
Why did they never go back?
So you don't have to believe both.
This is, that's another, again.
Why did they never go back
feels
to the
quite
moon?
Passionate about this. Why didn't they ever go back? They did. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the moon in July 1969. And in November, Charles Conrad and Alan Bean did the exact same thing. Literally 4 months
You just
later,
never
they went
ever
back and
hear
walked
about
on the
it.
moon. And that was Apollo 11 and 12. Apollo 14 and 15 also had men walking on the moon in 1971. Apollo 14 being the famous one where Alan Shepard was playing golf on the moon. And then there were 2 more trips in 1972, Apollo 16 and 17, where again, people walked on the moon. And so after we first stepped foot on the moon, we went back 5 more times in the space of a couple of years to do the exact same thing. After that, obviously, a lot of the political aims have been reached. Congress started asking, what are we getting from this? Why are we still funding this? Apollo cost about $25 billion
Yeah,
in
that's
the 1960s,
fucking
which is
crazy.
$150 to $180 billion in today's value. And there was also the Apollo 1 fire and the Challenger and Columbia shuttle disasters. And people were like, wow, this is dangerous. So funding was cut. Apollo 18, 19, and 20 just didn't go ahead. And okay, man hasn't stepped foot on the moon since 1972 as a result. But you know what we realized?
What's the point?
Moon, but rather than sending humans who might
Send
die,
fucking
and are very expensive
rovers.
to get up there, and if something goes wrong, it would be almost impossible, if not impossible, to save them. We could just send robots. And we haven't just gone to the moon once or twice with robots. We, as the human species, have been about 25 times. The US, the Soviet Union, and China have all been several times, and India and Japan have both been. It was only back in 2019 that China went and landed on the far side of the moon, first time anyone's ever done it. And in 2024, we had the first ever samples returned from the far side. And okay, I mean, these guys are American. Maybe they haven't heard about Chinese news, Chinese space news. But Odysseus landed on the moon in 2024. It was a commercial one.
I love these videos, man. They're so informative.
Very recently. And in fact, NASA are planning a lunar flyby, a manned lunar flyby, in the next couple of months. Some of you guys might be watching this video a couple of months after I released it, and they've already set off. Or if you're watching this in mid-2027 or later, NASA might have already put humans on the south pole of the moon. And that was a lot of rambling.
I always do. I wonder when he does these kind of videos, if he just has this knowledge on lock, though. I didn't know a lot of that. I knew humans had gone back to the moon, but I didn't know how many times, didn't know the dates, anything like that. I didn't know the intricacies of everything. I always wonder if he researches it before every video, or he just has that knowledge on lock. And either way, I think it's so impressive. It shows testament as to why these videos are so good, why they do so well, and why people enjoyed them so much. It's so impressive.
You found some of it interesting. I'm sure many of you will have known a lot of that already. But it's just so funny that these people seem so interested in the moon landing conspiracies, and they say, why have we not been back since? And they just have no idea that we've walked on the moon several times since we first did. And we've sent countless robots there. And these space missions have been by multiple different space agencies from different countries that have completely competing interests, politically at least.
Because I don't think we made it to the moon.
There's a lot of lies, y'all. There's a lot of lies.
We're going back to the moon right now. We're going back.
Why have they never went
Someone's
back
going back, either we, Russia, or India. I can't remember what it is. Somebody's going back to the moon right now.
Not the most compelling voice of reason, but a voice of reason nonetheless. It would just be so interesting to sit down with some of these people and be like, how do you explain the reflectors on the moon? Apollo astronauts left retro reflectors on the moon, and observatories around the world point lasers at them. They shoot the lasers off. They come back. It takes the exact same amount of time as you'd expect, given the distance to the moon. The mirrors are still used today. And what is the other explanation? Did the Americans...
I would love to see someone like that. I would love to see their response to this kind of video, just to see if they take it on board and they go, oh, fair enough, I was wrong. Or if they still argue it. But realistically, if you're that person and you're watching this video, I don't see a way around arguing this. Like, how do you argue this? Your argument is, why have they not been back? The answer is they have. What are you surely there's nothing to say back to that. You've been beaten, right?
Just find a really, really shiny random spot on the moon and went, yeah, you know what? Let's just tell them we landed there. And what about the hundreds of kilograms of lunar rocks that the Apollo missions brought back? They distributed them to non-US labs, and everyone was like, fair enough, this is lunar rock. It's got isotopes altered by solar wind exposure. It's got micrometeorite impact damages. It's got no water. It's chemically distinct from rocks on the Earth and meteorites. And it matches later samples collected by other space agencies. And speaking of other space agencies, Russia never disputed it. They had radar tracking of the Apollo missions. They had radio interception. And when Apollo were like, we landed on the moon, the Russians were like, fair enough, we just watched that happen. We're not disputing it.
But the fact that, I think that's one of the biggest arguments. The fact that Russia didn't argue it is one of the main things, no? If anything at that point was gonna happen, Russia were going to argue it. If there was any inclination of it not actually happening, Russia would have gone, hang on, no, you didn't. There's no way they wouldn't have.
In fact, they publicly acknowledged the landings, and that's not something that they wanted to do. They would have loved to have proved it wrong, but they couldn't. And again, what's the alternative? That hundreds of thousands of people and tens of thousands of companies and decades of time and political changes and all of this, and everything was just perfectly coordinated.
It's all fake.
There weren't whistleblowers or technical contradictions or anything like that. it just all ran perfectly. Again, with all of that evidence and countless more, it's just like Occam's razor. Yeah, we went to the moon. All right, what do we got next?
Where's the proof?
If you could see the whole Earth, which you can't because of atmospheric conditions
Well, NASA
and
claims
clouds,
they've got photos.
they've got nothing else but Photoshop, CGI, and paintings.
But do you have Photoshop and CGI and paintings? I feel like you guys don't even have that.
The silence was very telling. I'm gonna like this one. Finally, someone strongly combating it and raising the double standard. She's there like, oh, they've only got CGI photo. Have you guys got CGI photos? You're criticizing their evidence, but they've got some. Have you got any? I think the silence is her saying no.
Am I doing a bad job of the interview or am I saying anything you don't want to hear?
No.
Okay.
She kind of looks like Catherine Tate.
Oh, sorry. Well,
Okay.
Another prerequisite for being a flat earther.
Stop
Now,
actually
with your questions. The
thinking
more you
about
question
what
things
the argument
and
is.
actually try and think reasonably and logically, you're not going to understand flat earth. If you start thinking, oh, but what's the evidence for a flat earth? You're never going to get anywhere.
Okay, just let me be me.
okay, I'll let you be
Just
you.
let me be
Where do you get
me.
this confidence from?
Because we've got the evidence and the proof and everything.
But the other side says they've got the evidence and the proof as well.
Well, we're challenging them to find the curve.
They're challenging you to find the flat.
No, it's our question. They're the ones that says they're going into
We asked it first. You have to answer us. We asked it. That's our question. You're not allowed a question. We asked the question.
space. This doesn't make sense, and it's not right that people are being lied to and deceived.
Yeah, again, another classic tell. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense to me, therefore it's not true. And there's lots of proof of the curve. There's the photos of the curvature of the Earth from space. There's things disappearing over the horizon. We found the curve and we showed it to them, but they're just going like, no, we don't believe any of it. So now what?
We don't
Just
get
because
it.
they're evil and rich.
But who is deceiving us? Who is lying to us?
Follow the money right back.
How do I
See,
follow
you
the money?
realise that $52 million a day is given to these liars for Photoshop paintings and CGI.
Well, no,
Well,
for
there's children
satellite.
starving in Africa.
Jesus
What
Christ.
what's Africa catching flack for? I mean, first of all, again, classic. Lots of slogans being thrown around. Follow the money. Follow the money where? What's the purpose? Stop with the slogans and give me some actual answers. Lots of anger, lots of feelings, lots of emotion, but no coherent points are being made. And okay, yeah, NASA's budget sounds like a lot, but it's $70 per person per year. And in return, lives are saved, homes are
Actually
saved.
really doesn't
insurance
sound like
prices
much
are
at
lower,
all.
Your food prices are lower. That's because we can track hurricanes in advance. We can track wildfires. We can monitor floods. We can forecast droughts. We can predict crop yields. All of these things are beneficial to every person in society. They're healthier, they're safer, and they're better off for it both physically and economically. And I mean, the risk is low, but not zero of an asteroid impact or a solar flare that's going to wipe out the power grid. And we can track and study these things. And like we mentioned in previous videos, the technology spillover is great for everyone too. It doesn't just give us GPS and satellite and advanced healthcare technology. It also gives us foam mattresses and scratch-resistant lenses and a bunch of other things that weren't meant for us, but we got them anyway. All that money isn't just being spent on taking pretty photos of space, although those are lovely to see as well. They are things that improve our everyday life and the long-term chances of survival of our species massively. And yeah, Africa was just chilling. I'm so confused, like, what did I do? Not us catching strays. Children starving in Africa. Leave us out of this. We're doing well. That headband covers the scar from where the brain was removed.
Jesus
and a piece
Christ.
of Moon cheese was placed. I mean, it's nice that she cares about the truth and scientific veracity and the efficacy of government spending, but there's too much anger and shouting and not enough reason and understanding. And hey, maybe if she focuses on swapping out some of the former for some of the latter, she'll find what she really wants to find, which is the truth. There really is a beautiful and wonderful and awe-inspiring universe out there, and I hope that someday these flat earthers find it. And forever.
I do wonder what it would take for them to realize the truth, though, because as he said, she obviously cares so much about this theory, but not enough to actually find the truth. So if she's getting that irate about questions or about someone questioning her beliefs, what is it actually going to take for her to challenge herself and go, no, I'm going to find out the actual truth to this? Why are people arguing me? Let me find out answers to their questions rather than just question them back. I don't know what it will actually take. I don't get it.
Everyone else, I hope you found enjoyment in this video. And if you enjoyed it and want to see more, I hope you can find the subscribe button.
I love
said
these
before, I
videos
love
so
these
much.
Kind of videos. I love that you
Shut
guys
up, I
love
said
these.
that.
Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Let me know what else you want me to react to. And hopefully I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye. I love these videos, man. They're so much fun to watch. I hope you guys enjoyed as well. I hope you learned something. If you didn't, then you're a genius and maybe a flat earther. But we'll see. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please do make sure you leave a like down below, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.